Love, light, and blessings. It's Shamanic Awax Priestess here, and welcome to today's video. We're going to be talking about spiritual bypassing. Okay, this was inspired by a lovely channel member slash client. I've been wanting to talk about this topic for a while, but I feel like once they asked me what spiritual bypassing meant in their comments, I feel like it was further confirmation that I should be making this video. Before we get started in today's video, I would like to let you know that you can book a one-on-one reading with me, shamanic@workpriestess.com. You can click on my website and book a regular tarot reading, specialized reading, mentorship, spell work, and so much more. If you just simply go to my website, you will see all the various spiritual services that I have. Also, I have a membership. If you would like to support my channel, you can become a member at whatever tier you want. There's a 1, 2, and 3 levels. Okay, so you can get 1 card a day readings, specialized readings, bi-monthly readings, as well as exclusive content, videos that are only available to members, and also a coven. We have an online coven. Feel free to join. We meet up once a month and we do so many different activities, rituals, talks, just so much. It's a great group of individuals, like-minded individuals that are trying to be part of a spiritual group and learn more about their spiritual path and have people to practice with and share ideas and things like that. So feel free to join. But now getting back to our video, we're going to be talking about spiritual bypassing. So what is spiritual bypassing? So according to Psychology Today, okay, spiritual bypassing, in other words, is whenever someone uses their spiritual practice and instead of actually dealing with issues at the, seeing the root of an issue or wanting to face an issue in real life, like what's actually going on in your everyday real life, they compensate these challenging things or even traits of themselves, things that they need to work on themselves or on their environment or decision making. Instead of dealing with those head on, they use their spirituality, okay, to compensate. For example, someone who's suffering for low self-esteem might mask that with the spiritual, trying to uplift themselves by making other people feel disenfranchised or making other people feel bad, or not really dealing with the issues that are causing the self-esteem, right? Oh, I'm going to use a crystal and I'm just going to, be with this crystal all day. I'm going to, fall into consumerism. That's a big thing. And then try to fill in the holes, buying a bunch of, nothing against anybody else. There are collectors in the community, but some people, they have emotional issues, and instead of dealing with those, whether that's therapy, shadow work, talking to a professional, or just working within and being honest about our situation, we're buying, over buying crystals or decks or whatever the case may be, right? Spiritual tools and things, or so into the spiritual world that you're not living in the real functional world, right? So, and this can cause like social isolation, okay? And it can cause other emotional issues, okay? So they corrupt what actual use of spirituality is. Like, it is supposed to be for enlightenment, the betterment of yourself, the betterment of humankind and things like that. But they're not doing that, right? They're using it to mask. They're taking the easy way out. They're explaining things away like the world is such a bad place because that's what spirit wants. And you'll see things like that, spiritual bypassing, even in organized religion. Like I said, instead of dealing with why pollution is happening, they'll say that's how Jesus and God wants it to be. You have that with New Age people. You have that with and within our own spiritual community, within Abrahamic spiritual communities, where they're just making excuses, or, oh, the reason why that part of the world is suffering. You'll see that a lot when people talk about Haiti. Haiti is like that because they're not Christian, even though 70% of the population is Catholic or some type of Christian denomination, okay? Yet they'll say it's because of the voodoo. You know what I'm saying? Instead of dealing with the reason why Haiti has so many earthquakes, is because they live in a place where it's more prone to earthquakes, but also there is an environmental impact when they are cutting down trees and things like that to make charcoal in order to cook food. because there's lack of infrastructure. There has been generational wealth stolen by the illegal occupation of America. Generational wealth stolen by France forcing Haiti to pay them, right, reparations because they freed themselves, right? And all the prejudice and racism that Haiti has experienced, even though they have such a beautiful and rich history, right? Same thing could be said about Puerto Rico. You know, the way that it's a colony of the United States, the way that we had an administration that did not give help to Puerto Rico, and they'll say, oh, it's because they don't have God, even though the predominant population of Puerto Rico are part of mega churches and other Christian organizations, right? All these things are spiritual bypassing. When you're not really trying to deal with the social, economic, or even your internal issues, instead you make an excuse, right? You don't really want to do the work. Oh, the reason. Now, does it mean that there aren't people that get hexed and cursed and that there's things beyond our control? Of course. There are, and that's the difference between corrupting something, where people are making things up. They'll lie to you and say, oh yeah, you have a curse on you, but that's not really what it is. Yes, do people get cursed? Of course. But a lot of times people will say somebody's cursed, but that's not what's happening. Sometimes it's your own actions that you're doing in your everyday life that is causing certain outcomes or certain reactions in your life. When you don't want to face that, sometimes there are things that we cause to ourselves, or there's a deeper issue going on, or maybe you need to go to therapy, and it's not that you're, being spiritually attacked, but maybe you're going through, some type of mental health crisis, right? There's a difference between a mental health crisis and when someone's being spiritually attacked. Those are two completely different things. And it's very important to have discernment to know the difference, okay? So a lot of people might be spiritually bypassing. Some people do it unintentionally, and there's a lot of people that do it intentionally with their content. They're trying to get money from you, so they're going to spiritually bypass things, okay? You'll have things like there's things going on. For example, we have a conflict in Palestine. We also have an upcoming election. We'll have things like, hurricanes, earthquakes. We have things going on in the Congo. We have things going on in Puerto Rico. We have things going on, there's a war going on in Niger, we have things, things going on in Somalia, things going on in Ghana, Uganda, Mali. Uganda is going through human rights stuff with the way that it's illegal to be part of the Pride LGBTQIA plus community. It's illegal. You can lose your life. You can be excommunicated. There's so many things going on in the world. And you'll have somebody who'll say, I'm an empath, so I can't watch the news. I can't be part of that, right? That is spiritual bypassing, because it's not because you're an empath. That's actually like something we call spiritual narcissism, okay? Which is another form of spiritual bypassing, okay? But getting back to spiritual bypassing, some of the signs that someone is actually doing that instead of dealing with the actual issues at hand, they don't like to focus on the here and now. Now, yes, it's good to do readings for yourself, for others, but I always tell people, okay, this is what the energy is now. I like to do, because I do predictive readings, I do believe in fortune telling, but I like to do it in a way that empowers you. So in other words, if you don't like the outcome, these are the things you can do to change that. If you like the outcome, then this is the things you need to do to stay on that current path, right? That is empowering versus there's nothing you could do. This is what's going to happen. Oh, well, right? Very doomsday, right? And things like that. So yes, it's okay to look into the future, but it's important to focus on the here and now, because what you do today will affect the outcome that you have in the future. See, that isn't spiritual bypassing. But spiritual bypassing would be, I'm so focused on the future, so focused on the predictions, you stop living your life. When your spirituality hinders you from living your life, you're spiritually bypassing. That is a corruption of a spiritual practice. That is not good for you, okay? And also when someone's too much in the spirit world, okay, we have to ground ourselves. All right, that's why the root chakras and the lower chakras are so important, not just the upper chakras, because You can't just be like, yeah, everything's spiritual, I'm just being spiritually attacked. No, honey. Sometimes you are doing things or self-sabotaging in your own life, and that is why you're not seeing the things the way that you want them to happen. You're not seeing the outcomes that you want. Your life isn't the way that you want it to be. You have to not only light candles, which is important, that's part of the spiritual realm, and do your energy work on that realm. You also have to be willing to work on the real life, everyday, physical world as well. Like, if you want to get a job, it's not just lighting a candle and a better business candle or a money candle, but it's also you going out there to get a job. Oh, I want to have a business. That's nice. The clients are not going to come to you. What can you do to bring the clients to you in the everyday life? Okay. You have to be willing to do the physical work alongside the spiritual work. If you're only doing the spiritual work, then you are spiritually bypassing. Okay. When you are overly positive, oh, white magic, love, light, everything's love, everything's light, you can't protect yourself, la 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 la, high vibrations. Okay, that is spiritual bypassing. Life is full of positive and negative events. Sometimes they're unexplainable. Okay, you have to be willing to walk that middle path. When you're too into the light, when you're too into the positive, they call that toxic positivity. That is a form of spiritual bypassing. And I see that a lot in the spiritual community. Not only with, I can't watch the world news, I don't want to participate, I don't want to talk about difficult issues. Okay, if we just do a crystal grid and send love, light, and blessings, and play with my decks and play with my crystals and hop along the screen, everything's gonna be okay. No, that is spiritual bypassing. We do not live in always a positive world. We cannot always explain why some bad things happen to good people. Okay, some things are unexplainable. Yes, sometimes it is a spiritual lesson, and sometimes it just is unfortunate events. It's part of life. Life is a cycle. Good times and bad times. Births, rebirths, life, death. That's all part of life. And also, when you're avoiding the negative, like I just said, you just want to be positive all day. Woo! Toxic positivity is not healthy. It's literally a corruption of spirituality. And it's spiritual bypassing. It's why I always tell people I do not follow the threefold laws. Okay? I feel like that can be a corruption or spiritual bypassing. It is okay to protect yourself as long as it's justified. I work both the right and left-handed path. That is the healthiest way to walk in the spiritual realm. Okay. Also, being self-righteous about the concept of enlightenment. Okay. My way is the only way. Yes. There's a disclaimer. There are such things as closed traditions. Okay. Those are a specific way. However, as I've always said, many people can be called to that path. Sometimes it can exceed people that were born into the tradition or not, as long as you do it in a respectful way. But you have people that think they're gods on earth, that literally want you to worship them, that literally are like, only I have the keys to enlightenment, worship me, it's all about me, you know. And I see a lot of that on the community as well. Okay, I'm the only one that can do everything, I have all the clues and answers and blah 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 blah, you know what I mean? So yes, when you become so self-righteous that you act like you're everything. I've had people, thank goodness I don't have them anymore, but that, you know, when I first started doing professional readings, that would literally want to do like a spiritual reading, but all they spent the session on was talking about how wonderful and powerful and how they didn't have to initiate because the spirits came directly to them and they are the chosen one and blah 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 blah. And it's just like, okay girl, like, are we gonna get to a question? Okay boy, like, are we gonna get to a question, or are we just gonna sit here and talk the whole hour about how wonderful and fabulous you are? Why the hell are you seeking my mentorship or counseling if you have all the answers and you're so wonderful? I'm surprised you're not like floating in the air and like, you know what I mean? And we're not going, hallelujah, praise you. You know what I mean? So it's just okay. Like, you're really annoying. A lot of people like that usually end up going into like back to the Abrahamic religions or get themselves in trouble because they don't have humility. They think they know everything. They're born knowing everything. They don't need to follow the protocols. They don't need to get initiated. They don't need to study under anybody. They just know everything. And the spirits are going to bypass all the rules because they are just everything. And we just all need to listen to them and blah, blah, blah. So you do have that. And that is a form of spiritual bypassing. Okay, now another topic, which is within this realm as well, is spiritual narcissism. And those are people who, they use their spirituality or their beliefs as a way of gaining power, okay, and control, okay. They want to be worshipped by others, okay. They literally act like they're the chosen one, they're the prophet. You'll see that a lot in televangelists. You'll see that a lot in, cults. Yes, there are cults even within our own spiritual community where they're just making stuff up. They are literally wanting money, power, and worship. Okay, they will act superior to you. They will have no empathy when you're suffering. It's your own fault. No, you did that because you chose not to be with the enlightened people, and you didn't do things a certain way, and you're not the chosen one, and you didn't, become submissive to me and listen to my teachings because I'm always right, everybody else is always wrong. So they don't have any empathy of when you're suffering. It's always going to be your fault. And I see that a lot in spirituality. Oh, you got cancer because you weren't enlightened, or you have, schizophrenia or mental health issues because you have to balance your chakras. It's because of you. You did something to create that, right? That is spiritual bypassing. That's disgusting, first of all. And that's very much spiritual narcissism, very selfish, it's all about you. They use their religion and spirituality in a way to manipulate a group of people. Okay, and they also criticize, but they use as a cover their veil of spirituality. I'm only doing this because I want the best for you. I want you to be your higher self. I've crossed some, mentors along the way when I was getting into my spiritual path. They were very spiritually narcissistic. All they did was criticize, tear you down, make you feel bad, and always uplift themselves and pretty much want to see people beneath them, which again is disgusting, but it happens, okay? Spiritual narcissism also includes, or different signs of it could be toxic positivity and lack of responsibility. Like I said, the environment's the way it is because, the spirits want it like that, instead of saying like the way that you're practicing is causing pollution. You're, the way that you're overusing sage or over harvesting things. I've had people like, don't tell me what to do. Spirits is for everybody. Sage is not only for indigenous people. This, that, blah, 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 blah. Clothes practices for everybody. It's beyond race. I could do whatever I want. I don't got to initiate. I could buy a statue, do whatever I want. And they knock everybody else down. That, they're not taking their responsibility. They think the earth is going to be here forever. Dragon's blood is something that, we're overusing, and one day might not exist anymore. And not realizing our environmental impact when we're doing spirituality, throwing glass jars in the oceans, the home of Yemaya, many water spirits, is toxic positivity and lack of responsibility. It is literally spiritual narcissism. Okay, spiritual narcissists are attention seeking. They're superior. They think they're superior, holier than thou. They have misplaced beliefs. They're manipulative. They're very spiritually materialistic. Okay, all they want to do is all the pretty shiny things, sponsorships. You see hoarding in the background. All they do is buy things. They make you feel like you're going to miss out on stuff. They make you want to consume stuff, spend all your money on buying all these things to fill voids, right? So they're very manipulative. You'll have people that are spiritual. They'll be like, you didn't even go for a reading for that. Your hex, your parent's going to die on Tuesday. You don't give me $25,000 today, you ain't going to have a parent. So we see this, this toxic behavior within the spiritual community, okay? Not everybody, but there are people. Those are spiritual narcissists. That's spiritual bypassing, okay? It's a very dangerous thing. They just think they're just this wonderful, more important than everybody else person. And again, they just really do lack empathy. So if you see any of these signs, please stay away from these people. And again, this is what spiritual bypassing is. I hope that it helped. I feel like it's a very damaging behavior. Yes, there are people that care about you. There are people that have the gift and insight and will use that gift to help others. But you have people that have psychic gifts and they use it to belittle people, manipulate people, and, scam people, But then there's people that use their spiritual gifts for the betterment of humanity and the people that come to them. I always try to be very ethical in the way that I use my spiritual gifts. And I always try to be honest. I'm like, yes, we can deal with these issues in a spiritual way, but you also have to do the medicinal medicine, taking care of yourself type of way as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Much love, much light, much blessings. Thank you so much for being a channel member and watching this video and supporting my content. Much love, much light. Much blessings. Bye.